to our Friday Night Live. As always, my name is Dr. Ayguen Sahin. On my personal channel on Friday night, we are discussing world events and we are doing socio-psychological and socio-political analysis of everything related to world, related to humanity. So by now you already know that every week on Friday nights we do our Friday Night Lives, and subscribe if you haven't already so you will not miss it. It's about 7 or 8 p.m., either 7 or 8 or something in between, so don't miss it. We do this every single week for years. Okay, so if you're interested, if you are an independent thinker, a strategic thinker, this channel is for you, because we do not have any sides. We do critical analysis, and I bring the dots, put the dots together for you. I'm a scientist of 26 years, and I will bring you the perspectives that you may have not seen or maybe never thought in a million years that these things are going hand in hand together. But because also I lived in multiple countries, I can totally understand different variety of world history, cultures, politics, and everything that is connected. So you don't want to miss it. So in this video I am going to talk about religions, okay? And I have been talking about this multiple times on my channel, but this will be another one of it because I'm so sick of it. So if this title and the thumbnail triggered you, that's good. So we will, hopefully you will watch the entire video. Don't prejudge anything. This is not, probably not what you think this is. So we do critical analysis here. And why did I titled this video as religions, right? Are you religious? Do you follow it, right? Why? Because literally, again, today I have experienced like, come on, man, like, come on, girl, like, are you, like, this is insane, like, pretending to be religious, pretending to know stuff about religions, and in such a way that and acting in a way has nothing to do with it. We discuss people who pretend to be religious and absolutely going nuts, upside down, inside out, totally nuts, and practicing and saying things, doing things has nothing to do, anything to do with religion if they would understand it. And on the other side, we have people absolutely completely turning this around towards their own benefit. We will discuss both, okay? Both go hand in hand. So ones are completely misunderstanding, doesn't even understand what the core of the religion even says, and so then acting in a way that this is religion, this is how it is. And then the other people are like, okay, I know some, like, maybe they don't know that, but I'm saying like maybe 0.5% of the religion, and then let me turn this to my benefit and pretend this is the religion. So, oh my God, I have so many examples for you. So hang tight, okay? This is not from out of the blue. I literally experience this every single day, and my dad and I, believe it or not, every day we are like, this is crazy, they don't understand this, and this is nuts, you know, because when you understand religion, or when you practice a religion, there is no way around that you cannot learn world history and religion history. Like, it doesn't make any sense, like zero. Like, you have to understand the world history so that you can understand what the what they actually the Bible in the Old Testament talks about, or the Quran talks about, and the other books are talking about, like I mean, like the book for Judaism, right? Judaism. So they have a core. That's the story, like the historical story is identical. And literally that I am saying, keep saying that if you have read the Old Testament and in the Bible, and if you have read Quran, then you understand the stories are identical, like, because it's world history. Like in Quran, for example, they talk about, for even in Yasin, Surah, on others, they're talking about, the book talks about, you know, the not the empires, but the groups who are living there, and how they were not following like being a human being or the child of God, or following God, and doing some weird stuff. I don't want to, you know, say some weird words here, because I am totally disagreeing. When you talk about is a very high level topic, then using some words in there that doesn't match what you're talking about, I'm totally against that. So woo-woo people do that a lot, so I can't absolutely stand that. So I will like to stay in that balanced way when I discuss this. So when they were doing some like really out of control, meaning, for example, and that's what it says in the Quran, when Muhammad was sent as a prophet to that was the time 638, when the when in that region, when Muhammad came, it was out of array, and people were acting towards very terribly towards women and the men. They were doing a lot of prostitution and all that, so they were out of control, and that's why God sent Muhammad as a prophet. So that's the story, that's the history. In Old Testament, in the Bible, it actually talks about identical things, right? Also, the same identical topics about, you know, the Genesis and how everything started, the human beings started. So if you don't understand the core basics of world history, then there will be a problem to even understand what the either book actually teaches you or tells you. If you don't understand, for example, when in Quran, like in Yasin surah, when God talks and says, here, listen, you did not follow the goodness, you followed the evil, and so that's why only the good people will benefit from my mercy, but the people, you guys, that you didn't follow, and when I send, not, and in Yasin surah, and there are multiple other surahs that says, like, I send you prophets, and that's what Christians and Jews don't understand, that in Quran, God that speaks in Quran says that I sent you prophets, meaning you know, Jesus is there, and the Moses, and everybody is there, like all the previous religions that came before Islam, those prophets are in Quran, and that is being said by God in Quran, and says, I sent you prophets, but you still decided not to follow them, and you judged them, and you hurt them. That's what literally God says in Quran. And I read it, basically. I literally read it. So you cannot tell me I heard it from somewhere. No, 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 no. I read it, okay? I'm a scientist, so as you know me, whatever I talk something about, I know the proof. I have the black and white receipts, okay? So you know this by now. So then God says, you hurt them, they said to you, the prophets that I sent to you said to you, follow me, and you did not, and you judge them, you hurt them, you prosecute them. That's all written in Quran, okay? And so only the people who follow me and to the goodness will get the benefits of the heavens, and the other ones that you did not do that, they will see the punishment and all that. So that's identical to the Bible in the Old Testament as well, and every story that is all in there. Mariam, which is Mother Mary, Mariam, every story about Mother Mary is in Quran, and also acknowledge that she is the virgin. That's literally in Quran, and in Quran it says Mariam. That's her name, and Mary and Mariam. So that's Mother Mary gave birth without a man to Jesus. That's written. So it's literally identical, okay? So when you don't understand that, then, and also you don't understand at that time in the history, in the world history, how the world was, then you don't understand that what that topic is talking about in the books, in these religious books, okay? So let's talk about, for example, when you don't understand, and by the way, this is not new for me, okay? This is not a new analysis. I keep saying this to my dad, like, this is not for me brand new. You guys are just getting to understand. Oh, I got this, I understand this. I have been saying this since I was 12 years old, because and when I was 12 years old, my religion class was like A plus. I aced it all the time because I was so curious about it. I was so fascinated by it. And I read the Islam faith, the Christianity faith, and the Judaism. And so I dived, when I was 12 years old, in school, all the deep dive religions history, world history, and the different literally rules of these religions. And I made an assessment back at that age. Oh my God, there's a bottom line here, an umbrella and a bottom line, a base core. That's how I lived through my entire life, okay, since I was 12. Now adults coming and tell me, oh, I read this, and yeah, duh, okay, like literally duh. So for example, I keep saying it, when the in the way these aids work, right, or why this Ramadan came in, why there's in Ramadan 30 days of fasting, and why is there the aid of sacrifice. Yeah, right now, actually tomorrow is the last day of the aid for to sacrifice. Actually right now is literally in that aid time. So why is that coming at that time? Those types of, when we talk about Islam, right, like those types of aids were so misconstrued now in this day and age of like money making opportunity for fundraiser. Right here, I'm building my mosque, so donate. Oh, and then you will see during the AIDS time, all the non-profits, like religious non-profits, they're coming out of nowhere and like, donate, it's Ramadan, we will send money to the poor. Like, dude, where are you before? Okay, so I just don't like when people that turn and twist their religions around for their own gain and benefit. Okay, so this goes from the cultures, from the countries, from the governments, from the businesses, from the non-profits. It doesn't matter. Okay, and individuals and the woo-woo people, and I mean everyone across the board. How can you make money off of it, right? Without understanding. For example, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's Ramadan for 30 days. So Ramadan at that time, it came as a rule to just not, for multiple reasons. One of which is it's a time to be still and pray and to be grateful for the food you have. Thanks for the like, I appreciate it, thank you. So for the time that you know, that you have food, that you are alive, that it's the gratefulness, it's the, you know, be so literally full with love and with appreciation of life or food or water. That's what Ramadan is. The second reason is because to calm down your body, and like a monk, right, you turn into fasting like the Dalai Lamas do, like they just go off to the mountain and they just eat either rice or they eat nothing. The same thing is just to go inwards and be grateful for the food, for the water, and to be just praise God, etc. This is the whole purpose, that time, the reason why God gave this as a rule, the Ramadan, for 1 month to be grateful. 21st century, fast forward, how is Ramadan being celebrated, or the whole Ramadan? You eat at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like all the food. Like the whole day I will be hungry, you will not eating and not drinking anything, and then you just are bulldozering and eating everything, and then on sunset, when you break your fasting, then you're like eat again. Like, what is this? Okay, so you are smoking again. And I know people, like I literally know people who were breaking the fasting with cigarette smoke, like tobacco cigarette. Like, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like the, oh my god, and then just like eating like crazy. So you tell me how this is supposed to be healthy. How is this healthy? I've been saying this for more than a decade. Yeah, like, how is this healthy? Like, you cannot tell me God said to you, you know, pumping all the food in and then do a fast, like full stop break, and then bulldozering food in again. This is not fasting. This is absolutely absurd. Like, also, you are doing the whole day, right? Because you go to work, you go to school, like you are like your brain, you're not supposed to do all of the schnick schnack, right? You just scroll on YouTube, you watch YouTube videos, you go watch these crazy movies and stuff like that. That's not what it is. It's not about not eating, not drinking, and then doing all the stuff that you were doing, continue to do that. It has nothing to do with that. And many people just don't understand what actually the purpose of that fasting is. The same thing with Christianity. And keep saying to Muslims, oh my God, I love like the Roman Catholics, their fasting is just, this is how it's supposed to be. And I will definitely do another video specific for sin, okay? Because I have a different way to take about sins and the application of sins. I will connect these two videos together because this is maybe, if you will, part one, and then once we master this, then I will do part two, and that we talk about the sins, because it goes hand in hand to understand what even sins is. And let's dive just a tiny bit into that, the sin part, right? Because when you know the Roman Catholics, how they do the fasting, I love that. I find this to be mentally, also in this day and age, like in this 21st century, mentally, also health-wise, so much better. Why? Because Roman Catholics, the way they fast is you are allowed to drink water, which is awesome. We need water, which is absolutely strictly a no, 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 no. In Ramadan, you can't drink. You can't do nothing, okay? You can't. And in Roman Catholics, you can drink water, you can drink tea. It's just like soothing, calming, but you can't eat things that arouses you. Talk about sins, right? Like chocolate, like desserts, or like meat, like this brain arousing things you can't do. And that is incredible. You know, we talk a lot about neuroscience, right? By the way, the masterclass, I couldn't publish it today, but it will come tomorrow. So stay tuned with that. Most likely we'll publish around or not noon, okay? So hang tight. I will publish it on my neurohypersensitivity channel. So if you haven't already subscribed there, yeah? So that is incredible for brain training on actually what you put your brakes on. I keep saying, and many people like many Muslims disagree with me on that, is that neurologically from your brain like rewiring perspective, this is easy. When you say, well, how is that? And many people say, like, oh my God, how is that easy? You are strictly not eating anything. That's easy. The Roman Catholic fasting is not easy, neuroscience wise, brain rewiring wise. Why? Because when you set your brain, you rewire your brain and say, I can't eat nothing, I can't read nothing, like zero, nothing, nada, right? And that is easy to follow through. But on this side, you have to judge and say, while you drink water and you're like, that would be so awesome if I would drink a ice cold Coke or like coffee, like, oh my God, I need a coffee right now, right? But you can. So that is more neurologically, like the brain rewiring wise, more challenging, because you have to engage the parts of your regions of your brain to actually do the judgment, right? The prefrontal cortex. So absolutely stunning how it works. And this is why you need to be in constant training of your body, of your mind, of your soul. That's the purpose of the rules of these religions, of any religion. That's the rule. Those are the rules, because God will tell you, listen, this is how you be closer to me, right? And if you like, well, yeah, okay, I do whatever I can, bulldozering my food in, bulldozering my food out, bulldozering my food in again, and during the whole day I can scroll on YouTube, I can go work, I can do even other like stuff, whatever. no sir, no ma'am, it doesn't work that way. That's not the purpose of just not eating and bulldozing food inside and out. That's not what God said that you should be doing. That's not what Ramadan is. That's not what fasting is. It has nothing to do with that. And so good luck explaining this in 21st century to people who just make stuff up as they go. Now, let's talk about then things that the manipulators, but also I will then talk about how people are claiming to be religious and not following the religions at all. And this is the whole point of this video. So let's talk about the people who are twisting and turning things around for their own benefit, and then they claim to be religious. Okay, so for example, I give you an example of in Islamic faith from the very old times. It was a common rule that was like Sharia's rules, right? The Islamic rules that before, and this is important to understand. This is critical. And if you are Muslim, listen to me closely. This is the rule, okay? So you, before the night before, and this is important, the night before your marriage, like the night that you spend with your husband or wife, the night before your actual marriage, in that time, and obviously, and this is so important to understand, that's where the history comes in, right? At that time, there were no like institution that you have a passport and you just give your paperwork and then you sign like, I don't know, a document, and then you get married. Like, that there was nothing like that, okay? And even like as close as the Ottoman Empire, like not even far off back at that time of the Prophet, way further, with even in the Ottoman Empire, right? They were following the rules of Islam. So the Sharia rules, that's the rule, and that's the marriage. The actual marriage was the marriage in front of God. That's the marriage, yeah. The Sharia type of wedding, that a priest comes in, like a Hoja comes in, and then they marry you two, and you are in the presence of God, get married. And in the newer, after, of course, the Ottoman Empire, then in the new day and age, when the institutions came to get you married with paperwork, etc., like actual marriage, then the newer Muslims, right, they would do the night before the actual marriage, they get married again, the same style, with a priest, with a Hoja, and they prayers, etc., and in front of God you get married. That was also in Turkey, that was a must, like a cultural must, okay? So you, because otherwise they would say that this is not even like, okay, on paper, yes, but to be actually, this became beyond a religious thing, it became a cultural thing in Turkey, okay? And this is important why I say Turkey is, so hang tight. I will connect the dots, okay? So that was that time, and we talk about all the way until, I would say, the 80s. Even like that, okay, like very close. 80s, end of 80s, early 90s, same thing, okay? And even like now, but just was like a general, like, cultural thing. You would do that, even though you would not even no longer believe in that stuff, and just to make your parents happy, you would just like do it whatever, yeah, kind of thing. So I know people who done it that way, like, yeah, whatever, I don't believe in that anything, but doesn't matter, just make them happy, the parents, so it's all good, whatever. So but that's how that worked, and then the next day they would get married officially, and then they can go into, become husband and wife, like the actual in the bedroom. Okay, so now fast forward. Now I am stunned. I am stunned that the Turkish people living in Germany, remember I did the radical, I made a video Friday Night Live about the radical diaspora. They drive the politics, they drive the nastiness of humanity, the radical diaspora. And now, if I will find and link that video here, watch that video. And then those diaspora, the radical diaspora, radical religious diaspora, and in this case, because we talked about Turkey, the Turkish diaspora, the radical Turkish diaspora right now in Germany, for example, everybody becomes so radical, it's insane. Like Germany was not even known to be so Catholic or like extremely religious. Now I cannot believe that I'm seeing so many religious, like deep core religious, like radical, the Christians in Germany. Like, what's going on here? And the same, the Turkish people living in Germany, they are like radical Islam, but not in a way that you think they are. They are manipulating, and let me tell you, like I can't even tell you about, I can tell you multiple things they manipulate, but because we talk about the marriage thing, because I've seen it with my own eyes. So what they would do is they have a boyfriend, they have a girlfriend. Girlfriend can be from another culture, another religion, doesn't matter, okay? Apparently doesn't matter anymore. I'm not saying it did matter, like for me, I'd say, or for anybody, but for those people and their families and what they're preaching the whole time, they would judge everybody like, oh my God, they're intercultural religion, like whatever. Now their children do the same thing, and suddenly, out of a sudden, those radical rules doesn't apply anymore. But what they did instead, because they have to somehow claim that still, that their children now do when they get married, they have a boyfriend, girlfriend, to do all of this, right, to, the bedroom stuff, they get married in front of God, out of like nowhere, and they get married in front of God, and for years they do all their stuff, get babies, and then do the official marriage, because it doesn't matter. That, because we are so religious, that is just the non-religious nonsense. Can you believe this? I have seen, like, I know people doing this. Like, this is disgusting to me. And I will do a Turkish video to the Turkish people, probably on my Instagram. That's the only where I post something in Turkish. So if you are my Turkish subscriber, yeah, here, I will post a Turkish video there, so that they finally, the Turkish people, somebody throws that in their face, because it became so normalized to, even when I talk with some people and they tell me, these people are doing this and get married, and we're like, what? they were like together for like, I don't know, 5 years. They have like 2-3 children. Like, yeah, they get married now because, God, they were married in front of God. I'm like, excuse me? Like, how does that work? That's not the purpose of in front of God marriage. And when I then explain, because it becomes so normalized, and even how they describe it as so normalized to the Turkish people, they're like, yeah. I'm like, no, not yeah. Are you crazy? No, this is the rules. They're like, yeah, you're right, actually. I'm like, what? Of course. Like, when you talk about elderlies, they're like, and they manipulated those elderlies who went through this type of marriage before. What are we talking about? Do you see the manipulation? They normalize it, and that's what I keep saying it. The normalization is so dangerous. The normalization of this utter, horrendous manipulation is insane and so dangerous. So he manipulated 70 plus years old who went through the entire life through that, and say, yeah. And then when I say, excuse me, no, that's not the rule. The actual rule is this. And they're like, yeah, you're right, actually. Like, yeah, of course I'm right. I'm right. Like, and they're like, they then become so confused. Oh my God, it is so heartbreaking. It is so insane to me. That's why I will want to make a Turkish video and throw them in their face, so that they're like, the people who got manipulated wake up and say, oh my God, this is utter nonsense. And the people who did this, they hate me anyway, so they will hate me even further, so who cares? But for me, the honesty, the truth, the actual what it is important, so I have to say it. I don't care. You know me. So now the final section of it are the ones who pretend to be religious and do all sorts of things. Who are those? Pam Bondi. And I don't know, lying through her teeth, support the evil, right? And I mean, anything, and they're putting a gigantic cross on their chest and doing all sorts of lies and cheats and supporting the evil. And another example, that Caroline Levitt, like, what is happening? You can't got that big gigantic cross and then lie through your teeth and support people who abuse children. Like, what are we talking about? Since when is this religion? Okay, and don't get me started. I'm not talking about the priests and all that with the Catholic Church, what they did to young boys and everything. I'm not even talking about those. I'm talking about the pretending, the 21st century pretending that people who have a cross, or like Muslims, right? They're just like having a turban on, or I don't know, headscarf, and then they're just incredible makeup, and then they do YouTube videos, they do tarot cards. Like, excuse me, like the actual tarot cards, and you know that I, in front of you live, tear them up and throw it away, right? You cannot put a headscarf on, pretend to be a Muslim, and then have tarot cards in your hands and do YouTube videos with this makeup. Like, what are we talking about? What's the purpose of the turban? What's the point of the headscarf? Well, what is it? If you didn't even get that, right? That's not, you can't you can't even assess that. And there's another one, a girl, an English British girl, and she makes these YouTube videos on like how to make money, right? How to sell digital products, and whatever. And she has this gigantic cross on her chest, but she is the full-blown scam, like literally scamming people, lying through the teeth how she makes money. Oh, and of course they said digital product, and every time she promotes something else, not her products, that's not what she's selling. She sneakily sells other products, and that's how she makes money. And she literally lies through her teeth. She's a full-blown scam, and she has a gigantic cross on her chest. So go figure, yeah? So I'm talking about that. Also, like maybe 10 years ago, I saw that I was at that time was still on Facebook, and that was before I had nothing to do with YouTube. I didn't even know YouTube existed. So there was like I saw pictures from Jamaica. I never forget that. I never forget. It was like literally like 2000, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, right? Literally 10 years ago, okay? So when I saw pictures like in Jamaica, like a man on a motorcycle, and the women sitting behind him on the motorcycle, both bending forward, and she has this gigantic behind and open and also big, and she has like and the picture is from the behind, right? Of course, because we have to expose the women, right? Not the man, but the women. So, and that whatever tight she was wearing is also lower, so you could see everything, right? And then she has this, of course, Jamaica, this gigantic cross on her chest, like, and this front is like gigantic too, and everything is tight. Like, excuse me, I never forget that picture. Like, how is that possible? Like, how do you not understand what the cross is for? What is that cross that you're wearing for? What is that headscarf you're wearing for? The same goes to Judaism. Like, what is that, right? What is your religion teaching? That's what you need to understand. First, you need to understand world history. What was the times those prophets were coming in? And it literally says in those books that what God speaks, and it tells the story. There were these people and they were doing this, acting like this, and that's why I brought this prophet to do this and that. So that is the whole point. But when you don't understand that, that is a complication of execution of the religion you think you are following. And I can tell you, you are not following a religion, doesn't matter which religion. You make stuff up to fit your benefit, to fit your 21st century life that you don't want to give up. But that's the opposite of Shams Tabrizi, of Rumi, of becoming the Dalai Lama, or coming into reaching the Nirvana level, and Yunus Emre. It's the completely different level of the higher level you go up. It's how that then, let me tell you then, what is it then? And that's how I will finish this video. You do not need to be religious. I am not religious. I know all the religions. I studied all religions since the age of 12. But I never lied. I don't lie, and people hate me because of this. Because I don't schmooze people. I don't kiss feet to nobody. I don't slime myself into positions. I work hard. I am honest with truth, honesty, integrity, right? My t-shirt, remember that? Truth, honesty, integrity, that's how I live by. I believe in justice on earth and justice from the heavens when you follow the rules that is being taught to be a good human being. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't do drugs, don't do like crazy stuff that takes you away to be a human being, a good human being that cares about others. Love thy neighbor. Who does that, right? Nobody. So give food, give your money. If you have two, give one. That's the whole teaching of religion. Be service to humanity. This and all these woo-woo people, right? Like, love and light, love and light. I'm a spiritual being, awakening. All these like buzzwords. And the second word they're saying is like a vulgar wording, the same sentence with God, and then a vulgar word, and then the openly presenting themselves into almost going naked on YouTube. And then people who stealing other people's YouTube like videos, right? Copying, narcissists. I mean, you go on and on and on and on and on, okay? So you cannot pretend to be any of this spiritual if you don't even understand religion, full stop. Period. And no, sir, no, ma'am, you cannot make stories like a storytelling tarot reading and pretending to talk about a story while doing some manipulating people and say, I can do spirituality as I like. I can be spiritual as I want. Excuse me? See, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You can manipulate the religion as you like. You can manipulate spirituality as you like. If you do, excuse me, every single day, live stream tarot reading, what? How are you a spiritual being? Like how? Just because you say like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, you're so sweet. What? So, what is this? What is this actually? It is your money sources, because if you do have a second YouTube channel, a dark tarot channel, whatever the heck that means, and you have two stream of gigantic income, and you pretend to be a fairy in England, unable to speak English, and then copying other people's channels and creating tarot cards and putting your own picture like a narcissistic way, and you pretend to be spiritual. You can wear any type of fairy-like dresses you want and just take pictures like in a forest in England. Doesn't make you spiritual. It makes you a money-hungry narcissist. That must make you, and has nothing to do with neither religion nor spirituality. With that being said, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your likes. Thank you. So hang tight. Tomorrow on my new channel, I will publish our masterclass, I Am Attractive. What does it mean in the brain? What does it mean in terms of neuroscience? Every Friday night, we will do here on my channel, socio-psychological and socio-political analysis. So subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like this, let me know in comments if you like my analysis, and let me know what your experiences with fake religions, manipulation, fake spirituality is. I'm very curious. So love you guys. Have a great Friday night. I will see you on my new channel tomorrow. Bye bye.